Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we got a Winnipeg Blue Bombers video, which I'm happy about because me and Rick have spent the last few hours working on other teams, especially Sask. Yuck! But we get to talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now. As we're talking about a Canadian-born receiver, Gavin Cobb re-signs with the Bombers from Victoria, BC. Went to school at the U of M, played for the Bisons. And he will be sticking around as, I believe this is a one-year deal. Is that correct, Rick?
Yes, sir.
He's 5'10", 186 pounds, 27 years old. The wide receiver played 2 seasons for the Edmonton Elks, in which he kind of got a bit of a limited role, got a touchdown in each of those, and kind of had a bit of that kind of continue going into Winnipeg. But in general, he wasn't bad. Like, I actually quite liked Gavin Cobb. I actually really liked this signing. I'm not going to lie. As I think this is one of those things, like, are we talking about this is a signing that's going to like light the world on fire? Like, this is like an absolutely generational wide receiver? Maybe not, but it's one of those things. Having good Canadian talent is really, really important. So if we just kind of take a look at his time, it's funny, actually, I only see 1 year mentioned in his analytics, with the Bisons. I don't know why. Did he only really play only 1 season? Because if we look here, he had 27 receptions for 340 yards in 8 games played in 2021 for the Manitoba Bisons, 5 touchdowns with his longest being a 32-yarder. His average is 12.6, so over 10, so that's generally kind of what you're looking for. However, it looked like, here's why. He had also played there as a kick returner. He had done decent there as well as a punt returner. He got 1 punt return touchdown, actually, with a 91-yard return. And so I think I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Gavin Cobb gets a bit more of an opportunity in a few aspects. So firstly, he's a depth receiver for Winnipeg, and I think that he will continue to be that. Not saying that is a bad thing. You know what I mean? I don't see him being top 4, at least yet. You know, potentially he's able to prove himself. Guys have found their way in there. Ontario Wilson, great example. Guys went down an injury. He had to come into the lineup, lit the world on fire. And now he's, one of the top guys. So not saying that's going to happen with Gavin Cobb, but I'm not going to say that's impossible because it's not. Where I'm curious here is Winnipeg also releases Peyton Logan. Now, we'll have a video about Peyton Logan signing at some point. We have a lot of videos planned. Trust me, we will get to that eventually. But I wonder if a guy like Gavin Cobb will be potentially maybe in a bit of a secondary returner position behind Trey Vavel. I'm not sure if they'd put him there, but again, he had worked well as that with the U of M Bisons. He played 8 games there. That's it. And he got a return touchdown, in the punt returner spot, not necessarily kickoff return, but, it shows that he's certainly capable in that regard in Canadian football. That's the other thing that's good to know. You know what I mean? That he's used to the CFL version of the game, the Canadian football version. And so with that, naturally, I hope the Bombers have that confidence to maybe put him as that backup or just kind of a guy that they have a bit in the mix. Heaven forbid something happened to a guy like Trey Vavel. So what do you think, just kind of from an outsider's perspective of this signing, Rick?
So other than Nick Dembski, everyone's under the age of 28 that's on the receiving group.
Yay.
So this is a sign of
the young
Winnipeg going younger. Keep in mind, there still are a few other wide receivers. I'm curious to see what happens to them.
Well, Winnipeg,
I'm sure we'll have videos.
That might be an area where Winnipeg decides to pick up one in free agency. I would not be surprised.
But I mean, you guys still haven't signed Wheatfall, Stearns, or Schoen.
Well, Schoen is a big question mark with everything that's been happening regarding injuries with him. So I'm curious to see. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bombers extend an offer, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's an offer that Dalton Schoen's going to slap away. You know what I mean? Just in the sense of because of how injury prone he's been. Because he's a really talented receiver. Just keeping him healthy has been an absolute chore for the Bombers as of recent. But then also, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Wheatfall needs to be a priority there. I think Wheatfall's potential was really, really high. And I think, there were glimpses of Kenny Lawler in that. I'm not saying he's Kenny Lawler. I'm saying there were glimpses of that, and I was like, whoa, like if they can really hone in on that, my goodness, you know what I mean? But Gavin Cobb was a solid piece. Like I think even just having a guy that you use as even just a possession receiver. Like people kind of shit on possession receivers, and I don't like it. And I'm gonna be honest why I don't like it. People shit on possession receivers like, oh, he just gets the 10 yards and then he goes down. It's like you're acting like it's like part of the game that doesn't need to be there. It does. There are times when your back's up against the wall and you need to get that 10 yards. And Gavin Cobb, you know what? That's kind of a role that he played. That's fine. You know what I mean? Um, and so, because even if you look at his longest, he was 17 yards. It was nothing to burn the world down about, but he had done fine. And so I don't have any problems with this signing. I know some people online are, well, like we're signing this guy and we haven't signed Willie Jefferson or Stanley Bryant. It's like, okay, trust me, I don't think Kyle Walters was like, oh yeah, we gotta put those guys on the back burner to get Gavin Cobb signed. They're two separate things. You know what I mean? It's all part of the plan, and so I'm happy to see Gavin Cobb return and be a part of my Bombers again. So congratulations on the new contract. But that's all I got. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord where we discuss all things CFL related, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you guys go there and chat it up. And before we get going, though, Rick, you have a bit of an announcement to make.
Yes, on February 10th, we will be doing some free agent frenzy stuff. So come stop by, have a chat, see see where your team has signed players if you don't want to sit and watch all day long. Maybe stop in for, 5 minutes and be like, hey, Rick, where has my team done this week or today? I can fill you in. But yes, we are going to be doing a roughly 10, 11, 12 hour live stream on February 10th. So come stop by.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.